Hey friends, this is Jayendra Khatod and I'm here to chart the best way on Azure. As you know, in this video series, we pick up an Azure service and try to discuss its pricing and sizing aspects so that you can create the most optimized consumption plan for your customers. We have released a number of videos already, so hope you have watched and liked them. And if you haven't yet, please do subscribe to this channel. Let's welcome our today's guest speaker, Sabir. Hey Sabir, hope you are doing great. Why don't you tell our viewers what do you do here at Microsoft India and which service are you picking up today?
Hey, thank you, Jay. Hi, all. My name is Mohammad Sabir. I'm a cloud solution architect at Microsoft, and my focus area is infra and application workloads in Azure. So, today I'll be discussing Azure Functions, different consumption plan of Azure Functions, and how to plan the consumption for Azure Functions and estimate for that. So, let's first see what are different plans available for Azure Functions. There are three plans available: consumption plan, premium plan, and dedicated plan. Dedicated plans are same as app service plans, and you can use app service plans for hosting Azure Functions where you may want to utilize existing unused capacity of that specific app service plan. And that will be a great cost saving lever where you are deploying your Azure Functions on unused capacity. Consumption plan, as name suggests, user only pays for the compute resources when the Azure function is running. It has default hosting plan and it scales automatically even during high load. Premium plans provide pre-warmed worker nodes where application doesn't shows any delay after being called for a period of idle time. Another important aspect of premium plan is that it runs on powerful instances as compared to consumption plan, and there are certain features that are not available in consumption plan, such as virtual network connectivity. So, for example, in a scenario where you want to limit the usage of your Azure functions within a dedicated VNet on a private endpoint, then you need to use premium plan, as this feature is not available in consumption plan. Now let's see the pricing and the consumption aspect of these plans. Consumption plan uses memory usage and execution time to calculate the consumption of resources while the Azure functions is running. So for example, if your Azure functions is consuming 0.5 GB of memory and executes for 3 seconds, your consumption is 1.5 GB seconds. Important point to note is that memory usage is rounded up to nearest 128 megabytes bucket. So for example, if your Azure function consumes 160 megabyte of memory, it will round it to 256 megabyte of memory consumption. Another important point to note is consumption plan pricing includes a monthly free grant of 1 million requests and 400,000 GB seconds of resource consumption per month per subscription in your pay as you go pricing across all function app in that subscription. For HTTP triggered functions, when an error occurs before your function code begins to execute, you are not charged for an execution. With premium plan, the consumption or a billing is calculated based on number of cores a second and memory allocated across instances in that premium plan. It is important to note that with premium plan, at least one instance must be allocated at all times per plan. This means there is a minimum monthly cost per active plan, regardless if the function is active or idle. Keep in mind that all function apps in premium plan share allocated instances. Now let's see the pricing calculator. As you can see, with consumption plan, you have 400,000 GB seconds of execution and 1 million executions free. And as you see, if I put just 10 execution, no charges to the extent of 1 million. As soon as the execution goes above 1 million, you'll start getting charged for it. Similarly is the case of memory size and execution time. As soon as the combination of these goes above 400,000 GB seconds, you'll be charged for the same. With a premium plan, you have multiple options. You get various capacity with each of the plan. Importantly, again, to note down that there's one pre-warmed instance that should be available at all times, and hence there is a minimum billing or minimum cost that is associated with the premium plan. You can have additional scale out instances with your pricing calculator or with your deployment or while estimating. Let's say you don't need additional scale units for your deployment, then you have this minimum cost, or I would say minimum estimated cost. And you may want to add additional instances from an estimation perspective and an estimated time for which you need that additional scaled out units. Let's say you might end up using two instances during peak hours for 100 hours in month, then you have an additional cost associated with that on demand additional scale units. Now I want to show an example calculation of consumption plan which is available on the pricing page of Azure Function. With this example, let's say your function is consuming 512 megabytes memory, and it executes 3 million times per month, and each execution has a duration of 1 second. So you have 3 million executions, each execution of 1 second, so you have 3 million seconds of resource consumption. Okay, from memory perspective, you have 512 megabytes per execution multiplied by 3 million seconds, which is 1.5 million GBs. That is 1.5 million GB per second. So with your resource consumption, deducting your free grant, this is billable consumption multiplied by the cost of resource consumption based on the region selected and the currency, and you'll get the total cost of your resource consumption. Now, as we discussed with plan, there are two aspects of consumption. One is the resource consumption and other is the executions. So we calculated the resource consumption. Now, from executions perspective, there are 3 million execution, deducting 1 million execution free grant executions. So there are 2 million executions. So your billable executions are 2 million multiplied by the price based on the region selected and the currency. So your monthly execution cost is this much. So your total estimated consumption cost plus estimated execution cost is equal to your total monthly estimated cost. So thanks team. This is what I wanted to show you today. Handing over to you, Jay.
Well, that was a really insightful session, Sabir. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your knowledge with our viewers on how to create an optimized consumption plan when it comes to Azure Functions. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Jay. And thank you, everybody. I hope you had a great learning sessions. Thanks.
And that's about it for this episode, folks. Signing off, this is Jayendra Khatod. Until next time, keep learning.